You have to truly believe in the magic.
What's up, Magic fans? Welcome to Penny for Your Thoughts, Orlando Magic UK's weekly podcast. As always, I'm joined by Mr. Paul Bacon. How are we, Paul?
Very well, mate. Yourself?
Not too bad, my friend. Not too bad.
Good, man.
And
man.
Mr. Mikey Clark.
Hello, boy.
How are we, mate?
Okay.
All right, son?
All right, mate. All good, thank you.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. I know they always take the mick out of me for my accent, don't they? Unbelievable.
Dropping out of stereotypical, offensive, stereotype behaviour. It's not right, mate. It's not right. We'll have a word. We're getting on a diversity course.
There we go. And we are delighted to be joined this week by, hang on, I got a few AKAs here. The Sultan of Silk, AKA the People's Champion, or the Great One, Mr. Elliott Wade from Hoopin N Lootin. How are we, my friend?
I'm good, my friend. I'm good. Thank you for having me on, and hope you're well. Looking forward to it.
Welcome. You're welcome. And you've got a 2-year anniversary coming up, haven't you, for your store?
We have indeed, yeah. 2 years since it began. 2 long years. Began in lockdown in Spain, all the way via Guildford up to Manchester now. And two long years flown by, to be honest. And it's grown into a bit of a beast, which wasn't expected, but loving every minute of it.
Oh, mate, you're a pillar of the NBA community in the UK, and everybody says so. So kudos to you for doing what you do. I did have a little look on the old Twitter earlier, and I think you put a bit of a promo thing up. Shipped over 1,600 jerseys, given over 100 jerseys away to children at Christmas time, and you've had over 100,000 website hits. So you're doing something right, Al. You're doing something right, Al.
Yes, quite phenomenal numbers. But yeah, like I say, I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, isn't it? Saying you're not working when you do what you love, but it's I mean, the places it's taken me, what I get to do and what I get to see, it's quite pinch yourself at times. But yeah, you know, put the hard work in, and you can get the rewards from it.
Absolutely.
Pal.
Yeah, and are we going to get the Shirts and Giggle show back at some point? I know it was a lockdown thing, but we all did enjoy that quite a lot.
I do want to. The problem is that obviously when I started, it was in lockdown, so no one had anywhere to go. So it was kind of a bit of light relief. But then when you only have one guest on, it was a fun thing for me, and I had a few like cancellations like last minute. And when I find something which is supposed to be fun is getting a bit tiresome, then we've done it. But I've had some requests, and I'm going to try and get something to come back. But it is doing it at the right time to make sure it keeps it fun and fresh. Plus, I need a few more orders to buy some more silk shirts before I can do that.
Oh, those silk shirts!
So if you want it to return, you know what you need to do.
I was only having a look back through the archive this afternoon, and I was going through the dad joke section. That was just phenomenal, especially Snow KC and fluffing his lines.
It was good fun actually to do it for it. We all know that I love a terrible joke, and it turned into people were getting quite tribal about it, which was good fun. But it was the build up for during the week when people were telling me how much I was going to love the joke.
Yeah.
What was yours on it, G?
Me, myself and a cat having to box around one of the jokers. A couple of times I had to act to pretend I understood what was going on. I had absolutely no idea.
Yeah, what was that, Paul?
What was your dad joke when you went on, G?
I can't remember it.
I can't remember it. I know.
I bet you can. I bet you can.
No, I really can't.
You're just not embarrassing yourself the second time with it.
But yeah. We know it, because we know full well, G, when you said you went back and looked at some, your episode was the first thing that you watched. I can guarantee it was watching your whole episode back, so you know exactly what your joke was.
No, I went straight to Snowy's, mate. Honestly, I went straight to Snowy's.
But it was good. I'd like to get it back, but it was kind of it was kind of a lockdown thing. Everyone was in a sort of a place of limbo, not really know what was going on. So it was kind of a take the mick out of myself. It's something fun for people to go on. But who knows, mate? Who knows? Maybe the TV networks are watching and they want to make it not an internet thing.
Yeah, hey. Hopefully, mate. Fingers crossed.
Shoot big, pal. Shoot big. Can't follow you.
Right, let's just get a quick affiliate plug out of the way with, so we can crack on with Magic News and get to Elliott's guest section. Please support today's episode. Visit the official NBA Store EU and Fanatics using their affiliate links in the description of the podcast. Shop the latest NBA gear, including Orlando Magic, and now includes Formula One on Fanatics. Use a discount code MAGICUK10 at the checkout for 10% off your order, or use a discount code live on the website. Please note some exclusions may apply, and you can also find links on our website, orlandomagic.uk.com. Right, so Magic News. Magic and a bit of NBA news, because we've got a Brooklyn fan in the house. So first bit of good news, we haven't really got that much Magic news, is that the US are changing their clocks for daylight savings time this Sunday, the 13th of March, whereas we won't do it in the UK until the 27th of March, which means only a 4-hour time difference for the Magic and the Nets, for Eastern time and all that. Forget the West, forget about them. So if you're staying up to watch your games, it's only a 4-hour difference opposed to a 5-hour difference. So that helps everybody. And then just a bit of injury news. We've had a few games this week where players have been held out or missed due to illness or injuries. Markelle Fultz isn't playing back-to-backs currently. Jalen Suggs missed the games against the Grizzlies and the Suns. And Wendell missed a couple of games against the Raptors and the Grizzlies. Moritz Wagner did make his return against Memphis and has played ever since. So, quick recap of the 4 games that have occurred since our last episode. We had planned to do this on Saturday, so we did already preview the Timberwolves game on Friday. So the Magic played the Toronto Raptors on Friday last week, beat the Raptors 103-97. 7 players finished in double figures, including Chuma Okeke with 10 and 11 rebounds, Cole Anthony with 15 and 12 assists, and Jalen Suggs with 15 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists. For the Raptors, Siakam scored 34, and that amazing rookie, Scotty Barnes, finished with 10 points on 4 of 15 shooting. And he's higher than Franz Wagner in the rookie rankings somehow. Anyway, we then played the Memphis Grizzlies and Ja Morant on Saturday night, second night of a back-to-back. Markelle Fultz did play this game. The Magic lost 124-96. Cole Anthony finishing with 19 points. Franz Wagner, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Ja scored 25 for the Grizzlies, and Bane chipped in with 24 in what was a bit of a rout other than the first quarter. Game of the week was a 102-99 loss to the Phoenix Suns. The Magic kept it close throughout most of the game. Wendell Carter leading the way with 20 points, 12 rebounds. DeAndre Ayton got his for Phoenix, notching up 21 points and 19 rebounds. And lastly, the game I've only just finished watching because work's been horrendous this week. The Magic beat the New Orleans Pelicans last night, 108-102, with Cole Anthony leading the way with 19 points on 6 of 9 shooting. Right, so I can breathe now. So, quick observations, any positives, negatives from the last 4 games? And Elliott, you can just talk about Brooklyn if you want. Mikey, I'll come to you first, mate.
It's been a good week. We've had 2 wins, which has been rare this season. So that's been good to see. The tankers won't be very happy, but never mind. As I predicted.
Don't worry, mate. Houston have been doing the same. Houston have been winning as well in Detroit. So we've not hurt ourselves.
As I incorrectly predicted, we'd lose to the Raptors, which didn't happen. So that was good. That was the game we wanted to win this week. The Grizzlies, we all expected a blowout. And actually, after the first quarter, we got off to a good start in that. And then it was all downhill after the second quarter. We hung around in the Suns game. That was good to see. Going back to the Raptors game, I tweeted this out afterwards that it was one of those games that was good for development because it helped the young players learn how to hold on to leads and close out games, especially against a good Raptors defense. So that was good to see. And then we had a strong performance in New Orleans, despite letting the 16-point lead slip away in the fourth quarter. We managed to hold on and close that one out. So yeah, good week all in all. Markel looked good. I know he's not playing in back-to-backs, but that mid-range jump shot's looking smooth. He's looking in command when he's on the floor. And my boy Wendell is just balling and bullying players, which I love to see.
Hey. Wendell's a star. He's
Absolutely
an absolute
monster. Yeah.
It's going to be interesting seeing him go up against, the Philadelphias and Brooklyns in the coming week, because he clearly relishes the big competition. He wants to be tested against the best. So I think it's going to be interesting seeing that. Did anybody else wonder if we were actually trying to tank against New Orleans by leaving the second unit on as long as for the entire fourth quarter? You looked at the game that, again, Wendell was having, Franz was having, Cole was playing well, and none of them featured in the fourth quarter. You've got an argument for Harris and Terence Ross staying on and playing through. But I did begin to wonder if we were actually trying to lose that one. But it was a good performance. I enjoyed it. Made me sweat, though. I did think we were going to throw it away.
Yeah, always nice to get a win. Any observations, Elliott, on the Magic from a Nets perspective for the season? Obviously, the injuries we've been dealing with.
Yeah. It's tough, when I read and hear people talking about tanking, because when I look at Magic at the moment, there's a good core of young players. And I think if you're saying to any young players which are coming into the league, even talking about tanking, it just sets a completely wrong precedent for a player coming into the league for a career. These are young kids which come through, which have grown up their whole lives thinking they're the best player in their age group. They think they're the best player in America. If you don't think that, you don't get to the NBA through school. Yep. So to then go into a team and hear, shall we tank? If I was a player and I heard that on a team I was going, my immediate response, I don't want to be on this team.
Yep.
That would be my initial response. If I'm in a team which is, I don't care about picks, because if I'm a player, I'm better than the pick you're getting anyway. So I don't care what you go and pick.
Yeah.
So it's on the outside. I don't see it all. We don't get a lot of Magic on TV. I don't want to burst the blood vessel for you, G, but I know we don't get Magic on TV. But I can only go what I hear and what I read, and it is a bugbear for me when I hear any sport, anyone talking about tanking. I cannot get my head around going out as a professional athlete to lose a game. It's just, but maybe because I've played sport before, but it's just completely an alien thing to me. But especially when you've got young players which have got good potential. I mean, you keep telling me, G, you slide in my DMs every day saying about how good the rookies are, that they haven't been voted Rookie of the Year already. They should shut the top competition down. If you've got players which are potentially Rookies of the Year, then you don't need to tank. You make them learn the feeling of losing by giving your all, and they don't want that feeling again.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, Al. Well said. So, I mean, there's a section of Magic fans who are embracing the tank. Is it time to embrace it? I mean, it's not the right message, like Elliott's just said. And obviously these players are playing for their futures. So, you're not going to down tool and let people win, are you? So is there an argument there that, we are where we're at, we're going to get the best odds by just, there's only 17 or 16, 17 games left. Is there an argument for it at all?
You know me, I can see the argument for it. I would have the NBA look at rewarding teams that are trying to win as opposed to those that are trying to lose. I don't like it. I'll never like it, and I'll never be supportive of a team that I support actually actively doing it. I watch and I spend money on my team to watch them win. I don't want to watch them deliberately go out and lose. I don't think it's fair to the paying fan. I don't think it's fair to the players on the team. I get that for the organisation there is a benefit in that you're potentially picking a better player on paper, or somebody who's supposed to have better potential. But we all saw last year that having some of the best odds doesn't guarantee that you are going to get that top 1, 2, 3 pick. You can still drop down that lottery. It is as we've said before, a crapshoot. So no, I would rather see us engaged in tight game. If we're involved in tight games, I would want to see us go for the win, because the player learning something in actually toughing a game out. I want them, if they're going to lose it, I want them to have given the effort exactly as Elliott's just said, because they get the feeling of, we went out, we tried, we didn't get it. I don't want to feel like that again. I don't want that disappointment. So personally, no, I would rather us pick up a few wins. If it hurts the lottery odds, it hurts the lottery odds. I think that we've still got a good core. So no, not for me.
Mikey?
It's funny in this topic. It really is funny, because the other week we were like, well, we've endured 60 games of this nonsense. Let's just go all out for the rest of it.
I can't do it.
That's just being fan zone, it being fickle, and just 1 minute going, oh, this player sucks, and then the following week he's the next LeBron, or he's the next, I don't know. But no, tanking, it just doesn't sit well, does it? And it doesn't help development. Look, we've lost 49, 50 games already this season. We are better than our records suggests. Like, if you take all the injuries out of it and we got a fully healthy roster, this team is much, much better than 17 wins, without doubt. So, like you said, Paul, last night's game against the Pelicans, there was that element, and we were messaging each other about this earlier, about what was there an element there where they were like, well, we can't sit T. Ross and Gary Harris, because that would have been too much of an obvious move, because they helped us win last night. But yeah, I don't think I've not got a problem. You want to see competitive games. If you're just going to roll over and die and get blown out by 30 to finish off the season, that's not doing anybody any favors. But yeah.
I don't mind win or lose.
It's also that you're tanking for a potential first pick for a person that's potentially good, that's never played in the NBA before. Exactly. That's what I don't know. If the draft pick was you get to go and pick any player in the NBA, then I could understand it. If you can go out and say, well, we came bottom, I'm having Giannis, I'd understand that. But you're not. You're picking a draft pick that's played against people his own age. You don't know how people are going to translate that to the NBA. I'll never get my head around it. I don't want to get my head around it. I hope I'm never in the position that I have to decide, do we want to tank or not?
And Anel already said it. Like, Anel already said it earlier. Like, from a player's point of view, if like you look at the top of the draft this year, you're looking at power forwards and big men. Well, Wendell Carter's not going to turn around and go, well, I'm just going to sit out the last 15 games, so somebody might potentially replace me in 4 years' time. It's not going to happen, is it? Like,
their own money too. No one's going to go, I'm going to lose this game on purpose so a rookie can get given the money which I could get if I played well.
Yeah. This is where I would prefer the American sports to look at. You know, perhaps it's the teams that have scored most, or have just missed out on the playoffs, that there's some reward for being close to being in that playoff position. I don't know. There's loads of different arguments for it. I understand that the argument is make the worst teams better so it becomes a more competitive league.
How about a team with the most?
I can't embrace it.
How about a team with the most injuries gets number one pick? We'd be laughing.
We'd be owed several years.
It's hard. I get it though, because on the flip side, and it's probably going to work in our favour this time. I'm massively against the play-in because I cannot understand a stance of thank you for not losing games on purpose. Here's another chance to get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That just doesn't get me. How a team that finishes 10th can get in the playoffs ahead of a team which finishes 7th over an 82-game season because of a one-off game at the end of the season is nuts. It's a terrible concept. It's all about money.
I'm with you on that, Al. I'm with you on that.
It's the same thing with the deciding the Premiership for the rugby over a season. It's just a one-off. The top two teams that get through playoffs get to decide in a single game who's the champion. You've been in a league format for all year, and then it's down to a one-off game.
Yeah, I get it with a 7-game series. I think that's brilliant because that proves who is the best team over 7 games. But especially at the end of a season when you could have had a team which has played well through the seasons, had a couple of injuries to their really big players, and for that one game, they could be missing 3 of their best players, and the whole season's over because it's a wrong concept. It's done to and the excuse everyone uses is it stops everyone tanking. So it's exactly that excuse. Thank you for not losing a game on purpose. There's got to be a better way than rewarding someone for not losing on purpose. So if anything, if you're losing on purpose, you should have. I don't really use the words.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they should do something along the lines of have a look at an average of how many wins you've got over the last 5 seasons. So you look at the Sacramento Kings, for example, have been absolutely garbage since the year dot. And I think they should have a better chance of getting the number 1 pick. Granted, they'd blow it and pass on Luka Doncic, pass on all these other great players, pick Marvin Bagley. But they had something like that instead of maybe... I don't know, the Golden State Warriors managed to get James Wiseman that one year. They weren't very good. So I think it should be done on an average of 5 seasons. You can't just tank one season because the average would keep you at a certain spot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the trade analysts and the draft analysts would enjoy that because their computer minds could turn into screens everywhere. I purposefully don't try and get much knowledge on all the draft picks where this and that goes everywhere because it just looks like a minefield for me, which isn't fun. So I just take people's word. But there's got to be a better, they've got some of the most minds going. There's got to be better ways than rewarding people for losing on purpose.
I agree.
Yeah.
I can't be a fan of it.
Right, so let's move on to the Brooklyn Nets, Mr. Elliott Wade's team of choice. So, Al, do you think they're still contenders given the season you've had?
I'm going to say yes. Obviously, I'm going to say yes. But with the players we've got coming back, if the mandate changes, I don't think there's any way you can say if people stay healthy with KD and Kyrie on the same court that you haven't got a chance of winning a 7-game series of basketball. So are we contenders? If we reach the playoffs, absolutely. And especially with pieces which could come in after that. There's a lot of potential there. I say yes. Getting into one of the questions which is further going to come, we kind of given the impression that we, as an organisation, we don't think that we're contenders this season. As a fan, as a person, then yeah, we still got a chance. As long as we're in it, we've got a chance.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you've got Kevin Durant. you got Kevin Durant, you've always got a chance. And you mentioned Kyrie as well, and Ben Simmons when he eventually comes back. You know, people forget how good a player he is, two-way player. You know, stick him in and around the basket, and you know he can do stuff. So for me, you're absolutely still contenders, and I picked you to win it at the beginning of the season. So I'm sticking with my pick, and I still think you know Brooklyn got a chance. So
I thought you just put a discount.
Mikey, do you wanna?
Yeah, no, they're absolutely contenders. I mean, you look at the teams above them: Toronto, Cleveland, Boston, Chicago. I would probably argue they're better than all four of those teams. Maybe Chicago probably in the mix, but to me, there's 4 or 5 contenders in the East, and the Nets are definitely one of them. It'd be interesting to see. I'm not going to talk too much because Elliott's going to answer this question a bit later on, but no, I think the Nets are definitely contenders. I mean, it doesn't matter during the regular season. What are they now? 5.5 games back at Cleveland for 6th. They should probably be able to make that gap up quite comfortably. And if they don't get out of the play-in tournament, it's going to be an absolute shock if that's where they end up at the end of the season. But yeah, for me, they're one of the best 4 or 5 teams in the East, no problem.
No disagreement from me. Of course, the contenders. You can't you've got Kyrie Irving, you've got Kevin Durant, you've got the start of a fantastic team right there. Whether you're a fan of either person, they are both super basketball players. Add in, I think Seth Curry's a good player. I know you're not a fan, G, but I think Seth Curry is.
I like Seth Curry. I don't like. I
didn't think you like Seth. I know you don't like Steph, but I didn't think you liked. I thought it was a family thing as well. But
Steph was on the Magic, mate. He was on the Magic before, wasn't he? Summer League.
Well, summer, wasn't he? A summer league thing, I think. Mate, then you throw in what? Andre Drummond's still okay. He's not the player he was, but he can still work the boards. He can still get you second chance points. Nick Claxton's a good player. Don't you think? I'm quite happy with Nick Claxton when I've seen him. I've not seen a lot this season.
He's in his 3rd or 4th year. He averages less than 20 games a season. He hasn't progressed a single bit. People will see a highlight of him and think it's good. He's gassed after one run. You see,
the odd game I've seen of him, he's looked quite. I don't know why he just plays well against us then, which isn't unusual.
That's to say, he'll play a game, then be 3 or 4. He's just incredibly frustrating, and everyone's lost patience with him because
there's a difference of somebody who watches an occasional game or the odd highlight to somebody who's watching a team regularly. I'll bow to the knowledge, mate. Joe Harris.
It's hard with him because we saw potential there, and I'll never criticise a player when they're injured. But the first thing we highlighted on Claxton from his rookie season was his conditioning. And the fact is now he's playing a game or 2, then missing 3 or 4, and the same thing over again, which suggests to me there's a lack of professionalism in his conditioning because it's not an individual injury or a linked injury coming back and affecting him. This is a young player. He's a 23, 24-year-old man. Yeah. So you're having those problems at this stage, you'll get the odd exception of someone which will then turn around and get stronger. But the norm is if you're having that many problems at this age, then it's a very, very hard hill to climb from there.
And he's got the pressure of playing for the Nets as well. So you got to make sure you fit in because whatever role you play, it's important on a team like that.
Absolutely.
That must be a lucky omen for him then, because each time I've seen him play, he's looked a decent, solid lad. So, mate, that's interesting to me.
That's like me with Vucevic. I think Vucevic is the greatest player that's ever played basketball because as soon as he plays against the Nets, we lose. And all I hear from all the Bulls fans is how bad he is. But whenever I see him, he beats us.
Yeah, he did do that to you.
But yeah, of course, the contenders. Do you think they'll be in the play-in, or do you think they'll pull it back and get straight into sixth position?
I think it's going to be a struggle to get straight into the playoffs, not because it's fine saying we're only 5.5 games behind Cleveland or whatever, but actually the teams around us are also on good runs, and we're too inconsistent at the moment. There's going to be too many things to work out, especially we've got a lot of home games coming up, which would usually be a good thing. But with the mandate not getting into the rights or wrongs of it at the moment, Kyrie can't play home games. So you're taking away one of our main weapons. I think we'll make the play-in, but I think the key is to be in one of the top positions of the play-in. I'll be on, because I think is it 8th place? No, sorry, 9th place, 10th, and then the winner. I don't know.
Yeah, 7 plays 8, and then the loser plays the winner of 9, 10. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, if the Nets do make the play-in tournament, Miami and Milwaukee are going to be sweating it slightly because they ain't going to want to play the Nets in the first round.
That's been a big thing, mate. What I will say is this closed season, the playoffs, has the potential to be one of the greatest playoffs across the board that there's been. There's a potential for every matchup here to be going to 7 games, and this is the first round, second round. The teams in there, especially in the East, are phenomenal. The amount of good players on good teams now is crazy. When you just look at all these teams, and everyone's saying about all these super teams and everything. There's literally every team which has 2 bona fide superstars now.
Yeah, you
right. Can pick any team, and it's crazy to see the level at the moment.
Yeah. Right then, let's get to your guest section, Al. So I'll kick it off. So obviously know you very well from your Hoopin N Lootin, your store, your stock previews, which I enjoy very much. Shirts and Giggle Show, as I've mentioned. But for anyone who doesn't know you, tell us about your journey of getting into basketball, why you chose the Brooklyn Nets and not the Orlando Magic.
Well, I'll keep it PG. I'll stay respectful. Basketball for me was something I messed around with in school, never played seriously, just because the people which I went to school with didn't really play basketball, and it wasn't a massive thing sort of when I was going there. But I've always enjoyed it. I liked the Miami Heat for a bit, sort of around the 10s, purely because Dwayne Wade played and he had the same surname as me. So, everyone knows that I like to call him Dad, that he deserted me at birth. He's not actually my dad, as some people have thought. No relation. But then I've always liked the fashion side of jerseys. I've always liked the culture, the music, the hip hop that's associated with Allen Iverson starting it and Vince Carter, sort of just that culture. That's always appealed to me. Music's a massive part of my life. And then when I was out in Spain, lived out in Spain from 2017 to what are we in now? 2022 till the end of 2020. Yeah, that's right. The end of 2020. And I had Spanish TV out there, and they actually show a lot of NBA. So I started watching it more and more. I lived in a quiet little village up in the mountains, but virtually every village there has their own basketball courts, like outdoor, really new, well-done basketball courts, fresh nets, floodlights. But every person that lives there is over 70. So you kind of have your own... If you're under the age of 70, you have your own basketball court, which was brilliant. So I just started watching it more and more. Thought I want some more jerseys. Found it impossible to get hold of any jerseys. So that's when the business started. But in terms of why the Brooklyn Nets, I like black and white, the uniforms. That was why I picked it. I like Raiders in NFL because it's black and white uniforms, and I'm a massive Jay-Z fan. So that just went there. That was purely the reason. There's no fairy tale story. My dad didn't buy me a jersey sort of the first time we went over. Nothing like that. No affiliation. Just like the black and white jersey. So I thought, well, I'm a Brooklyn Net. And then a couple of seasons later, we get Kyrie, we get KD, and it all kicks off. So I look like a bandwagon fan, which I do enjoy. But yeah, so I kind of picked the right time to do it. It was close. It was close to being Lakers or Celtics, purely because the thing that got me right back into it was watching the 30 for 30 Celtics and Lakers best of enemies, which is one of my favourite things I've ever watched ever. Just documentaries like that just absolutely fascinate me. There's a lot of sports where I really enjoy documentaries and I don't even like the sports. So NFL, for one example, I think all behind the scenes documentaries and everything are the most incredible documentaries, all the high school things, QB1. But I don't really watch much NFL. I can't really get into it. So watch that. So it was nearly a Lakers or Celtics, but luckily I saw sense. Magic, it could have been, because Shaq is my all-time favourite player. But I'm not a fan of Mickey Mouse ears, so I couldn't be like a such at every theme park.
Hey, we've got the black and white pins though. You could have been good.
Yeah.
You're not selling it, Paul.
You've got Disney written across it, which is a little Mickey Mouse is a little bit different to Jay-Z. So like when I was picking between the two, like who do I want to? So it could have been because of that, but yeah, luckily I went with Nets, which is working out all right at the moment.
Good. Well, at least it wasn't the Lakers.
At least
it wasn't the Lakers. Yeah.
Hey, I want to ask you something. It's a bit of a two-part thing, because in doing what you do, you see a lot of the team colours. So, mate, what jerseys of the Magic do you love? Is there anything that stands out for you?
Yeah. One of my favourite jerseys, quite controversially, it's a new one. It was like the Stardust City Edition with the ball.
Okay.
It's always associated with Evan Fournier. That was kind of the only one available. But I was a big fan. I'm a fan of Magic jerseys. It's quite well known that I like jerseys which aren't very nice. I'm going to put it in a nice way. Jerseys which have bold colours. But, I mean, my favourite Brooklyn jersey, not a proper one, is the yellow one, just because it's horrible. It just looks like sick, but it's brilliant because I love ugly things. But I am going to say, and it upsets a lot of Chicago Bulls fans, the OG Magic pinstripe jerseys are probably my favourite jerseys. The Bulls like to think they've got the best pinstripe jersey. They haven't. The original pinstripe jersey is a classic, and that's why you still have it now, because it's timeless and it can just go all the way through. Magic fans are incredibly blessed with good jerseys. I'm a fan also of, as you can see behind Geraint's shoulders, of the inverted colours of each one. I like when there's little links which aren't blatantly obvious between jerseys. Yeah. And Nike have done some incredible links with their cities. A lot of people have given Nike quite a bad reputation. Everyone's like, oh, we want outlandish jerseys. Then as soon as someone produces outlandish jerseys, they'll say, oh, we want the original colours. It's like, well, you can't have it both ways. You ask for one thing. But Nike do incredible links with their jerseys, and the Magic ones have been very, very good. You've been very blessed. I say you've been very blessed. They're quite hard for you lot to get hold of, but to look at the jerseys, you've been incredibly blessed.
Yeah. Oh, we got our sound clip now, Mikey, to wind up the Bulls fans at least.
Absolutely.
So,
cheers, Al. You know exactly where that's going.
And I don't know if we've ever brought this up on a podcast, but one thing the Magic always, they never actually made a big thing of this. When they brought the first orange edition jersey with just like the plain ORL on the front of it, like the first grey one. Because I spotted this a little while ago. So when the Magic was being founded in '89, there was a banner of Pat Williams, like basically selling season tickets before the Magic were even founded and were even a thing. And that font that they used on that banner was actually orange, and those letters were used on the jerseys, on that first orange edition jersey. But I never ever saw the Magic actually make that a thing. It just looked like, it's just a boring old font they just chucked on the front of it. But As like you said, it's those links that they've chucked in there that a lot of people don't really know about.
Yeah, and it's quite clever. They've done things like that with a lot of teams, but they won't make a song and dance about it. So there's a lot of times where there's just an attention to detail. And as a Jersey fan, before being a Jersey seller, you know, that's my primary thing is I love jerseys. That's why I got into it. It's little things like that. It's a bit geekish, and yeah, it is, and I absolutely love it. But it's little things like that which you only find out when you get jerseys in your hands, when you see them, and it just triggers something for you to remember, which is a really hard thing to do effectively, but they've done it.
This second part's going to be interesting then, because it is the NBA produced that list of the top jerseys for the 75th year across the decades. I can't say I 100% agreed, but mate, what would you rate as the fire jerseys across the years?
See, it's hard because I think what they did, I think they should have changed the name of it to the 75 most iconic jerseys. I think that's much more relevant to what they did, because you could argue the same thing for the players. It was the 75 most iconic players that meant something. It wasn't the top 75 players. Jerseys, for me, it's hard to pick because everyone likes their own classic, and it changes continuously. It always develops a list. You look at what is probably one of the most iconic jerseys in the NBA, the Raptors jersey, which was absolutely detested by everyone. It was hailed as the worst jersey, the worst branding that there's ever been in any sport, not in the NBA. Now it's arguably one of the most iconic jerseys out there, that it's constantly being redone. There's always a demand for it. For me, I did have some selections. I mean, recent ones which have come up, which are some of my favourites, would be the black Miami Heat Vice jersey. It's quite a common consensus that the editions of the Vice jerseys, so the City editions, then with the pink earned edition thrown in, that's one of the best capsules, I'll say, of jerseys. And the black one is just symbolises everything Miami. You know, you see that and you think Vice, you know what it is. It doesn't have to say Vice anywhere. My favourite editions of jerseys, there's a little sneak peek of one there, is the Christmas script jerseys. They're my favourite jerseys I've ever seen. I'm a massive person about handwriting. I will judge a person on their handwriting. I have no problem with saying that. Calligraphy is a big...
The doctors can't understand mine.
It was just something different, and it just looks classy. Like there's no bells and whistles. It's just purely a great design because of the font used, and I think that's an indicator of how good jerseys can be and why we love them, how different they can be. But I like all of the classic jerseys, ones which come back. Things like the Clippers had the Braves jersey as a classic edition, which was like orange and brown down the side with a B on there. I've seen thousands of jerseys. I've seen thousands of designs. I could literally make an argument for any jersey that I see. Maybe not a Pacers jersey, but any other team's jersey, I can make an argument for why they're so good. And I guess that's why I never get bored, why I love everything that I do, because it always excites me seeing the new jerseys come out. On the flip side, it always angers me when I see a picture of a jersey taken with a potato saying Leaked City Edition, how trash is this? Like it's been taken from the middle of the earth or somewhere. But it's the passion. Like I say, you could pick any jersey and put it on there, but I have my favourite editions, which are the Swift editions, but there's just so many classics you could go on forever.
Yeah. Oh, cool. So on the topic of jerseys, mate, you and I both love we all do love collecting our team's jerseys. And I was lucky enough to come on the Shirt and Giggle show to share my top 5. which I did include that space jersey that Jonathan Simmons won, because I actually watched that back this afternoon, funnily enough.
Didn't I? You denied it earlier in this show.
No, yeah.
So what was the dad joke, G?
I didn't even get some dad joke. I just wanted to see what my jerseys were. No, genuinely.
Told you it was a bad joke. Told you it was a bad joke.
Pick yourself up.
So tell us about your jersey collection, your personals. I know you've got some epic jerseys that you've just touched upon now. But give us your 3 favourite ones and the stories behind them. And you can mention the SpongeBob one if you want, which you might not have yet.
I'm a bit disappointed you haven't got a silk shirt on the side to put on this. Right, so I'll do this one because we've seen it from here. Obviously, this is my favourite jersey, which is a Christmas script jersey. Not only is it my favourite jersey, it was how mad it drove me trying to get it. There was a lot of stuff posted on the internet of my face put on Gollum's body trying to find the one precious ring. And I eventually found it because someone reached out to me, someone saw it and said, I've got this, do you want it? Which was good of them. They wanted to give it to me. I think it's quite common knowledge that I don't accept anything for free. So they were handsomely rewarded, but it's just my favourite jersey. I love Christmas. Don't know why I never get any gifts. But I love Christmas. It's everything about it. Everyone in a good mood. It's all festive. And it's just when they bring out a jersey for a special occasion, Christmas Day is synonymous with NBA basketball, that it's just a good thing to have. My other 2, I've gone with the classics. They're game-worn jerseys. I have actually started slimming down my collection to try and only have authentics, autograph and gamers. That's kind of the stages you go through as collecting. So it's gone from having every jersey that there is to starting to just want to get exclusive ones, which makes it a lot more expensive, but also a lot more exclusive. So the first one is the classic Brooklyn Nets. We like playing games. So who's this, G?
Oh my gosh, number 4 on a Brooklyn home.
It's a game worn from.
Is that Chris Humphries?
No. So it would have been 2 seasons ago. You got the first name right.
Chris. Oh my gosh.
Now plays at Golden State Warriors.
Gosh. Well, you've got me there, Al.
I've got this one.
Mate?
I've got the answer to this one.
Go on then.
Chris Chioza.
Correct.
Do you know why? Because I saw it before you turned it around.
Oh, mate.
But yeah, the reason why it's special too.
It's got the black.
Yeah, it's because of the black armor, which was for David Stern. It wasn't the Kobe one; it was for David Stern. But again, we say I love details of that. I'm obviously not going to say it's my favourite jersey because it commemorates someone that died. That's a little bit twisted, but just the classic. From there, and as with Game Wars, just the details on it are incredible. And then,
what size is it?
Sorry,
out of interest, is it like a dress?
No. It's a 46. Chris Chioza is one of the smallest players in the NBA. So it's a 46, which is between a medium and a large. And it's got no plus ones on it. Sorry, it's the length plus 4. So he just wanted to tuck it in and pretended to be tall. I do that occasionally. Like, if I want to feel a bit taller, buy a bigger T-shirt and tuck it in. But then, from one extreme to the other, which was a recent purchase, which is the Nets' all-time top scorer and their all-time block leader, which is a game-worn Brook Lopez Brooklyn Nets jersey in the classic black and white, which, as you can see, I'll probably turn my iPad the other way around for this. But this is a 4XL length plus 4. It goes down below my knees. But, as I say, the leading point scorer of all time for the Brooklyn Nets. I managed to get this at quite a steal. the person said, I sent a message to the person saying, how much do you want for it? He said, what's your offer? I said, how much do you want for it? And he said back, and I said, all right, I'm not even going to insult you with an offer because I can't get anywhere near that. And he said, shoot your shot. So I sent him a number, and he said, yeah, sure. I was like, okay then. Fine.
Nice,
mate.
So yeah, that may get taken over because I have got 2 game-worn jerseys of the Long Island Nets on their way, which are SpongeBob SquarePants jerseys, which were only worn in 1 game, and they put them up for auction afterwards. Get into a bit of it later, but I've obviously got quite a thing for the Long Island Nets now after being over and seeing them. But yeah, I thought, why not put a couple of bids in, and they both won. So I've got 2 of them coming, which was nice.
Oh, you got 2? Wow.
Yeah, so I won. At first, I got quite happy because my card company thought it was fraud, so they didn't. So they declined one of them, and I got an email through saying your card company's declined it, so we cancelled your bid. I was like, oh, excellent. I only wanted one anyway. But then I got an email an hour later saying, oh, we tried your card again and it worked. I was like, oh, brilliant. So I've got 2 on the way. They're taking their time because they don't ship to the UK. But luckily I know someone in America, so I got them shipped there and now on the way to me. But it's just something different. Like I say, they're horrible. They are so ugly that I know they're going to be my favourite jerseys. I don't watch SpongeBob. I don't know anything about SpongeBob. It's just a jersey which I know no one else will have, and no one else will ever have the chance to have that player's jersey, which is quite cool.
Yeah. Oh, well, we've got something similar with Lakeland. Lakeland did an Orlando Magic night and a throwback to the Black Pinstripes. And Gary Craggs, who's part of the team here, both he and I have won jerseys, so we're actually waiting for them to come through. But like you said, I think I've got Tillman Jr., who's about 6'11", and this is going to be like, from the ceiling to the floor in size. So we shall see how long that is.
It's also quite cool because I managed to win Bryce Brown's, and I got to meet him whilst I was out there too. So it's just another little link, which just makes it that little bit more special. I didn't actually realise too that for the game I was sat next to his girlfriend, and I wondered why she was cheering and getting that so angry just when things like she wasn't interested in the rest of the game. But when Bryce got the ball, it was like suddenly like zoned in, like shouting at the ref. I was like, at the end of the game, he came over obviously just to speak to her and see his girlfriend, and that's when he said hello. I was like, oh, it makes a lot more sense now why she was getting so. But yeah, have something which is, and like I say, it'll be a jersey which no one else will ever have. And also links to the Long Island Nets. My Grail is a Long Island Nets jersey, which was used about, I think it was 3 seasons ago, which was a one-off jersey for cancer awareness. So the only way you'll be able to get it is a platter edition, but I don't know. It looks like it was designed by a 3-year-old who's just been introduced to paint. It's just a mishmash of all these random colours. Like someone asked me what jersey would I put with Chunky Dunky Nikes, the ice cream ones, which are all the like random colours in the cow things. And I was like, well, that jersey, because they're just equally as terrible. It's just random colours everywhere. They didn't. I tried asking all the marketing managers and everything at the Nets, but they had no idea. But I'll find it someday.
Cool.
That's awesome, mate. That's awesome.
Brilliant, mate. That's brilliant.
So let's turn the attention back to the Brooklyn Nets. I want to get your thoughts on the big trade that went down just before the trade deadline, acquiring Ben Simmons for Fatty Harden. So what do you make? What did you make of the trade sending Harden to Philly?
I think both teams won. Let's put it this way: there's no team which won or didn't win.
Yeah,
because Harden didn't want to be at the Nets. Simmons didn't want to be at the Sixers. Philly have won for this season. I was quite upset because I'm a massive James Harden fan. I don't buy into all this. Let's not get it wrong. James Harden is one of the top 5 players in the league. He has been one of the top 5 players in the league for a long time. He's a generational talent. any team would want him on your team playing his elite basketball, but he didn't want to be on the team. Again, it's another thing I can't get my head around it. This is the guy which is desperate for a ring. You could perform for 3 months and then become the highest paid player of all time. I don't understand why you throw your toys out the pram for probably an equal chance on another team. I think that's fair to say that KD and Harden would have just as equal chances as Harden and Embiid to win a title. I was upset about that because I was desperate for us to get Harden. And when we got him, it's quite hard to accept that he's gone before we got the chance to see the big three and then over any stretch of period. We got Ben Simmons. I was delighted by that. I'm huge on Ben Simmons. I have been for a long time. I share daily with our Discord group, me saying I would love to have Ben Simmons from 2 years. I think it's a year and a half, 2 years ago. An exceptional basketball player, an exceptional defensive player. This is a guy that had been in the league for 4 seasons, won Rookie of the Year, All-Star 3 times, being close to winning Defensive Player of the Year. I think you're nuts if you don't think that's an exceptional basketball player because he can't shoot a 3-point, because he doesn't need to shoot a 3-point shot. If you've got KD, Kyrie, Steph Curry, Joe Harris, Patty Mills, you don't need to be able to shoot a 3. His confidence was obviously shot at Philly. I'm not going to get into here about the other side of it because I don't think it matters what you get paid. I don't think it matters what you do. Anyone can suffer equally from any mental health illnesses. If you're not comfortable in a place where you are, then I don't care how much you're paid, you're fully entitled to want to take yourself out of that situation. That's down to an individual, that's down to him. And I don't think anyone should be judged for doing that, especially from people that have never had any contact or communication or insight into this person's life. Unless you're his personal doctor or psychologist, you have absolutely no right to say what's going on in a person's mind. With the additions we got, we're setting ourselves up for potentially 2 or 3 seasons where if we don't win the title, it is a failure. But my issue is we're setting ourselves up. We did that for the last 2 seasons. We played 11 games with those 3 players. There's every chance that that could happen again. So that was my gripe with the trade. Was it felt to me the organisation was saying, right, we don't care about this season. Which again, when I knew we've got KD and Kyrie, it's hard to take. But both teams won. That's the simplest way to put it. I try to distance myself a little bit because the vitriol around it and all the moment is just very... I'm insulting myself when I say that, but every NBA fan is generally a 30 to 40-year-old that thinks they're 12. That's how we react to things. Our reactions are so childish sometimes, and it's very hard when you're seeing all this hatred for people which you don't even know. It's very, very hard for me to get engaged and pay attention to that. It kind of upsets me a little bit that I try to just distance it, which is probably a good thing. But being honest, like I say, both teams won the trade. Philly got what they wanted. Harden got what he wanted. Simmons got what he wanted. Nets got what they wanted. So everyone's a winner, basically. It's like a 90s game show. Everyone's a winner.
Right, exactly what you're saying about the vitriol, we still see with Philadelphia fans towards Markelle Fultz.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah. We'll see it this week. They do seem to set themselves up to be that fan base that people deride because of some of the comments that get made about ex-players.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I've heard a lot from Brooklyn, but the difference I see...
No, absolutely, mate.
Brooklyn are hating James Harden between Brooklyn people. Every single Brooklyn post that has gone up since is just Philly fans about Ben Simmons, and I just let it go. He doesn't play for you anymore. It doesn't matter. Like, you don't need to ever think about him again. He's got no involvement with your team. But I get it. It's the passion. Don't get me wrong. This is people's lives. But ultimately, I mean, Ben Simmons' press conference, the first one he did for Brooklyn, if you actually take all of the fanfare, he spoke incredibly well. He didn't try and shift any blame for being thrown under the bus. He said, this is something where progressively over years, things got to me. And it just built to a crescendo where I couldn't take it anymore. So I had to take myself out of that situation, which he's still a young man. He's an incredibly young man.
Yeah.
Thrust into the limelight for his whole life. The way he spoke showed an incredible level of maturity and understanding of what he needs to do for himself as a person. And if anything, that just made me like him even more, taking basketball perspective out of it. There's a guy here which is obviously in tune with his own feelings. So yeah, like I say, I'm a big Ben Simmons fan. I've been surprised by Steph Curry. I think if Steph Curry didn't have the name, which is only one letter less than one of the greatest players of all time that changed the game, he would be incredibly higher for a lot of people. It's just unfortunate that he's not even the best player in his own household, probably behind his dad too, that he doesn't get the credit he deserves. And I'm going to admit, I'd be one of them. I wanted us to get either Tybal or Maxey because I felt we held all the cards. Because if James Harden didn't go to Philly, we'd then have a 3-month stretch to prove why another organisation in the off-season makes him the highest paid player of all time. Whereas if the Sixers don't make the trade, they don't have anyone for the rest of the season. Ben Simmons doesn't come back to play for them for the rest of the season. So we held the cards there. So I wanted us to get Tybal or Maxey. We got Curry and Drummond. We lost Millsap. Millsap was going anyway. Didn't want to be here. Drummond, I was a little bit because we could have got him last season. If we had got him last season, we probably would have won the NBA title. We didn't. And then I noticed Philly fans that actually I try and avoid Philly fans where I can, but they'd actually been saying that Drummond was playing quite well for them. So it's worked out well for us. Look, we've got a potentially good few seasons there. It's already taken some of the pressure off Patty Mills, who's arguably been one of the best pickups, but recently he's been off, and it's no surprise because he's a role player in the twilight of his career that was basically having to be the main man and play 40 minutes a game. So it's not surprising that he's got knackered and gone off the boil.
It's the Drummond acquisition that I liked for the Nets because he's played against Embiid over the years. He's played with him this year. He's gone against him in practice. And now you've got somebody that can actually, he's not going to stop him, but he's certainly going to slow him down because you didn't have a big man before that really that could go up against Embiid. So I think it actually probably balances the Nets roster out a lot more. And like you said, add Seth Curry's 3-point shooting in there as well. No, I like it for this. And Ben Simmons is a bit of an X factor if he does come back this season. You just need him to play D and push the ball up the floor. You don't, like you already said, you don't need him to shoot the three. He's already great at doing other things other than that. So
yeah, I think that the only problem may lie would be when Simmons comes back is can you play Simmons and Drummond? I think because then there's even less spacing, which would kind of not play into Simmons' hands. But then there's maybe Aldridge, which can step in, which has still got, he's not on the same rebounding level, but Drummond's nowhere near the level of shooting as Aldridge is. But that's obviously a nice problem to have, isn't it? To be working out which one of those rotations you want. But it's interesting. I really want Ben Simmons. I don't really have a doubt that Ben Simmons will be a good player because he's that good. I just hope it.
Is he coming back this season, do you reckon?
Yeah, he's due to be coming back in the next couple of weeks. I don't think it's any surprise with us having Philly tonight that he wasn't going to play before. I think that's for him. And let's not forget, everyone expected him to come back straight away. Let's not forget, this isn't turning up to play a game of pickup on a Sunday down the local park. This is the most elite level of basketball you can get. No player can sit out for 6 months and then just come back and be good like that, because it wouldn't be fair to Ben Simmons to just go, right, you haven't played for 6 months, you're in a new team, new surroundings, jump in there and play basketball, score us 20 points a game, be the best defender in the league. It's not going to happen. You've got to phase him back in. It's taken a little bit longer than people would have hoped for, but like I say, I felt with the trade, the organisation was kind of saying, we're not going to put any expectations on this season from now on, so let's not rush him back, because that could just have a detrimental effect. Let's take our time, which is frustrating as a fan. Obviously, we all want to see him play straight away, but it's sometimes easier to look at these things sort of in the future rather than the immediate right now, which is obviously a very hard thing to do as a sports fan.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. So you've got the chance to raid the Magic roster. Who, to make the Nets better, would you be looking at taking from us?
You can only have one. You can only have one.
See, this I found really tough, because it sounds as if I'm completely diminishing how good these players are. But as I alluded to earlier, when I look at the Magic, I see a lot of potential. We don't really need potential at the Nets, because it's not about the potential. So I can't really say, can I pick up one player now and they make the Nets better? Because they wouldn't, not in the immediate right now, I don't think. The cover is, you'd obviously look at Magno and say, well, as a power forward, or small forward, you'd have cover for KD, because he can rest a few games, and obviously he's balling out as a young rookie. But would I pick any of the guards over Kyrie, and Seth, the way they're playing and Patty? To be honest, I haven't seen enough of them at the moment to say, would I be able to put those young players into a championship winning situation and prefer them over a player I've got at the Nets, which I wouldn't. If I was a GM, if I was an owner, then yeah, I'd raid a few of the Magic players, get them to learn the ropes, and then in a couple of years' time, they'll be in the team. But at the moment, sorry, I don't make the cut, I'm afraid.
Right. What about Wendell at the 4 or 5?
I was just about to say, you haven't got any big men.
Wendell at the 4 or 5, mate.
I'm a big LaMarcus Aldridge fan.
Interesting.
Blake Griffin either, Elliott.
If
I know
I'm
you're a
bringing
big
him, then must be him, which obviously isn't going to happen. But it doesn't matter, maybe. We all love our wives and girlfriends. We see Jennifer Aniston. We can't just ditch him because we got a chance to get there. We've got to stay faithful to the people we love.
Hey, it's a good answer. It's a good answer.
Who would you? So you guys go Wendell?
Yeah,
I love Dell, but I think Wagner. You can plug him. You can plug him and play
mate,
in any team, and I think I wouldn't necessarily make them better, but he certainly wouldn't be out of place.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. That's what I say. That there's talent there, which in a regular season, because it's just, I'm a big believer in. I don't want to go to the old kids don't win things, because they do, obviously. But I think especially in basketball, where it's a hell of a lot more than it does in other sports, that experience is sometimes key, especially when we're predicting that all these playoff series are going to go to 7 games. There's going to be times when experience is needed. So you can argue it either way. Like I say, I didn't want it to come across as saying, no, I don't want any players.
I think you've explained your answer really well, and it's a good answer. There could be no offence at that, pal. None at all.
Absolutely.
I'm just spewing that I didn't want any match.
So you made the big trip to the Big Apple back in January. So tell us about that trip, mate, because we were catching up with some some of your photos and stuff that you were posting during your trip. But it looked like a good time.
Yeah, it was incredible. It's ever since I watched Home Alone 2 as an 8-9-year-old, it's kind of been a dream to go to New York. So even before the Brooklyn factor came in. I've just never been in the position health-wise, responsible enough with money-wise to be able to go there, you know. And there was a worry when I got out there that you build something up so much in your mind that it's not going to meet your expectation. And for the first couple of days, it was incredibly overwhelming because it wasn't just a trip as a holiday going somewhere you love. It was kind of an affirmation of where I've been to where I am now, sort of throughout my life, the things which I've had to encounter and overcome to be in the position where I am now. So it was incredibly overwhelming at first, just when you're looking around and thinking, this isn't a movie, like this, because you see it with other places, like you see all the London things on TV, but you've been in and around it, or there. I don't think there's anything quite like New York, just when you look up from anywhere and it's just there. Just everything's just massive and huge. And then I kind of got the first day I got there, I like to get my bearings of where I am. So usually whenever I go on holiday somewhere, I'll walk for the first bit. And I ended up walking 26 miles on the first day that I was there. So from my hotel, I've walked basically the entire circuit of Manhattan over the bridge to Brooklyn, then walked back. So kind of got my idea from there. And then just everything was incredible. In terms of the basketball, I mean, I went to Long Island Nets, which was... I'd been speaking to a guy before about tickets and wanting to get courtside because they weren't over expensive. They were like $70 to get courtside. But he couldn't take my card pay because it was a UK card. So he said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll put them aside. Just pay for them when you get here." So I got to the Long Island Nets game and he'd waited by the entrance to meet me. And the first thing he said was, "Don't worry about the tickets, they're on us." Which was nice. And then he said, "Oh, we've got a goodie bag which we want to give you, but the marketing manager loves everything that you did on Twitter for the kids over Christmas. So she wants to come up and meet you and do a photo of it." And that just kind of blew my mind because I was like, well, I'm just one bloke sort of 3,500 miles away. But you've seen what I'm doing for other things. Like, it's not just a fan come in and said they actively knew what I'd done. They came down and said, this bag full of jerseys, T-shirts, bobbleheads, the lot. And then these people were coming up to me throughout the game, like introducing themselves. And then, and you know, at every game, they kind of do a deal of the day on the merchandise stand where something is a reduced price for that. They came up to me and said, "We need you to come up to the merchandise stand because we want you to model it." And I was like, just got a program. So I'm there modeling this T-shirt away. While young people at courtside are taking a video, and it's actually on the Jumbotron in the game.
Amazing.
And then to kind of top it off, the general manager of the Long Island Nets came up and introduced himself to me. And he said, "Oh, are you going to see the Nets?" I said, "Yeah, I've got tickets for tomorrow for the OKC. I'm going to go to the Pelicans at the weekend, but I haven't bought the tickets yet." And he went, "Oh, don't worry about that." I was like, "Well," he goes, yeah, don't worry about that. Just give me a number and I'll send you through a couple of tickets afterwards." So he sent me through these tickets, which are like a few rows back from behind the players. I was just completely blown away by the whole night because, like I say, you know, they don't have to do all that. You know, they could have just introduced themselves. I'd be happy. And I feel really uncomfortable when I get given things. I don't know why. I just don't like to take things for free. It's just a weird thing about me. I've sort of, partly because I've been in the place where I've had absolutely nothing. So when I'm in the position that I can pay for things and do things, then I want to be able to do that because, you know, I don't need to be given anything. It's not a pride thing or anything like that. It's just a me. I've been there. I don't like to be given things. I don't want to feel the need. So then the next day I went to the Brooklyn Nets and I had tickets to be in the Brooklyn Brigade. So a few of the people on Twitter, there's like a section which is always set aside for the Brooklyn Brigade. They're always the people on the TV making the most noise and everything like that. So I spoke to a couple of guys on Twitter and they said where they were sitting. So I got the tickets for there. And that was just incredible. I mean, we lost to OKC, but it was the day after we played Washington in the evening. Then it was an early tip-off in Brooklyn. So KD was rested because they'd literally just jumped off the flight to play the game. Kyrie was out. James Harden played well, but we lost the game. But I couldn't have cared less. I don't think I even looked at the score. I wasn't that bothered. It was just the fact that I was there. And again, surrounded by these people, which were coming up to me saying, can we take a photo with you? And this was just like, it was just mad. And then there was another woman that came up to me and said, oh, we saw you at the Nets game yesterday, but didn't get a chance to say hello. Like the Long Island Nets. And I'm just like, this is utterly bizarre that like just one person from there. But it kind of shows like the connect in basketball as a family sort of between. Yeah. It's so far away. You never meet these people, but if anything, through lockdown, connections have got stronger through people from not actually having to meet face to face. I mean, this whole community, my business kicked off without meeting everyone. Everything was done online, which is actually a blessing for a lot of people because, especially for me, as confident as I come across, I'm always a little bit wary of meeting people. I'm not the most confident person in meeting people face to face that I've never met before. So the fact that I kind of knew some of these people before just through talking through Twitter just made it a hell of a lot easier. And then it came to the game against the Pelicans, which we won. I did sit in the seats which I was given, but they were expensive tickets. So I was kind of surrounded by rich people not making much noise. So one of the people from the Brooklyn Brigade took a screenshot of their ticket and sent it to me and just said, use that to go. So I went up with the Brooklyn Brigade for the second game again. And that's when we missed KD get injured because he got injured straight after a timeout. But we didn't notice they'd started playing again because we were on dance camp on the Jumbotron. we were all dancing away. And then there's like this stopping play. And everyone's like, what's going on? We all started getting these messages going, what's happened to KD? So we're like, well, no. So we're at the game having to go on Twitter to try and find out like what's happened. So yeah, and then the highlights I think we're going to some of the vintage jersey stores. So as a business, there's stores there of which I aspire to be like. So there's Mr. Throwback, who on the day when I went there had just had an article written to him about ESPN. So it's the place the stars go for their jersey. And this is one guy that started off a jersey store like I think it was 11 years ago, to now sort of one of the most known places worldwide. And he knew who my business was, which just completely blew my mind because this was something which I started as a side hustle when I knew I was moving back to the UK. What was something that I could do to supplement an income that I didn't need to take a job which I didn't really want as soon as I got back. And it just exploded. So now it's my whole life. It's my full-time job. It's all I do. And the fact that the pinnacle of your industry as such knows who you are, knows of your business, and it's in a completely different country that you've never been to, it was just an amazing feeling. So yeah, and the whole trip was incredible. It felt spoiled. I mean, everyone was going, oh, what restaurants did you go to? But I was like, well, I didn't really. I kind of just ate at food trucks, and like that's the authentic experience. I can go to a posh restaurant anywhere in the world, and they sell the same Wagyu beef. It's all exactly the same. But I was in these trucks. I'm going to a pizza place and seeing a picture of what was the pizza place? It was Joe's Pizza. Is it Joe's?
The best pizza in New York. Yeah, I think you put a post up on that, didn't you?
Yeah, they've got it's just this tiny little room. Just looks like your average kebab shop, but they've just got pictures everywhere on the wall of all the famous people which have been in there. There's like Hollywood stars. There's like newspaper cuttings of Hollywood stars saying, if you were on death row and it was your final meal, what would you have? And they're like a slice of Joe's Pizza. And I'm just there with the greatest sixth man of all time, a picture in front of me, Bill Murray, in there. And I was just eating pizza in the same place as Bill Murray. It was just the whole thing was incredible. And it was deserted in terms of people being there because of it still being locked down and everything. I mean, I went to the Empire State Building and I had tickets which get you in the morning and in the evening, so you can see it at day and night.
Yep.
And when I got up there at night, there was 2 other people there. So the whole of my state building, there was 2 other people there. I said to the woman walking around, I was like, what's this express line for? And she was like, for the last 2 years, absolutely nothing. It was just walking around, and which is again quite nice actually. I mean, I put a picture up, I think, and it would have been 3 o'clock in the morning in the UK, and it was of Times Square. And I got all the messages back from people saying, "Oh, I loved it when I went there at 4 o'clock in the morning and no one was there." And I was like, "No, this was midday. I'm just posting it now, and it seems like it's 4 o'clock there." It was that quiet, but yeah, the whole thing was incredible. It's quite hard to put fully into words sort of what it meant, not just from a holiday point of view, but yeah, it was everything that I wanted to be, and that was mainly down to the people, which made it what it was.
Amazing.
Don't forget where you're coming from, mate.
Yeah, I mean, we could go on. We could listen to Elliott.
Yeah.
You know, I want to hear stories of the Plaza Hotel and the Home Alone sites and everything. But we better move on. But I'm sure we can get you back at some point, mate. So thank you for that. So let's just have a quick look at the week ahead and last week. So last week, when Mikey and I recorded, the Magic went 2-2, beating the Raptors and the Pelicans. We did predict the Wolves game as well, so we can't announce if Mikey's got it right. Paul and I already fallen off because we went 1-3, so potentially Mikey's got it right. So let's hope we get a W on Friday, so he's wrong. So the standings remain the same. It is what it is, isn't it? We've got to be competitive. We next record on Thursday, the 17th of March. We do have 3 games before then. Obviously, the Timberwolves game, as I just mentioned, so we won't include that in the predictions, but Elliott can. We also play the Philadelphia 76ers at 10 p.m. this Sunday, the 13th of March. And then we play the Brooklyn Nets on Tuesday at 11 p.m., the 15th of March. So can we get some predictions for the 2 games? Let's go over to Paul first this week.
I don't like doing this. You know, I don't. I'm always the glass half full man. We're not winning the game. 0-2.
Okay. Fair enough.
Simple as. I think we'll be competitive. I think we'll play. I don't think we'll roll over, but I don't think we've got enough to beat either of these 2 teams who both have something to play for.
Yeah, fair enough. Mikey?
Exactly the same, mate. It's going to be boring this week. It's going to be boring this week, yeah.
It's going to be a shock when Elliott says we're beating the Nets. We've got too much for them.
Well,
you are, however, going to beat the Sixers because they're going to be reeling when we beat them by 50 points tonight. I was saying that more out of hope than expectation, because if the Brooklyn Nets don't win tonight, then that means I've got to abseil down the Tottenham Hotspur building.
Of course, yeah, your little bet.
Yeah. So I don't do bets of money. I don't gamble, but with another member of the community, I always do bets for charity. I'll do something like that. And originally I said to him, we've got to, I don't know why I was making all of these suggestions, because on the time we were on a 9-game lose streak and they've just taken our best player. So at first I suggested we do a skydive. A bungee jump. He said he doesn't like heights. I said
Shugs.
Yeah, I said, all right.
Yeah,
then,
shout out to him.
Let's do shark diving. I don't even know if there's any sharks in the UK. I said, but let's do shark diving. He said, I don't swim. I said, that's fine. You're in a cage anyway, so you don't need to swim. He didn't want to do that. So then I said, let's do the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And I don't like heights, so I've got no idea what I was saying.
Or Spurs. as a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, I mean that was kind of part of doing it. I feel comfortable at 3-point lane, but yeah. So the Magic are going to beat the Sixers. They're going to lose to the Brooklyn Nets because you don't have Nikola Vucevic. So yeah, you'll go 1-1. It's 500. Wow. I'd like to be 500 at this point.
We'd love to be 500.
Yeah,
that's a distant memory.
I've got to be different. I've learned this from Elliott. He says, "Back your team." I'm going to back our team. We've beaten Brooklyn once this year. We're going to beat Brooklyn again. So I'm going to say 1-1. Should I say 2? No, 1-1. Let's be.
Hang on a minute. I've learned from Elliott to always back my team. We're going to go 1-1.
Yeah,
that's Geraint.
Elliott, these are conversations we're very used to with G.
I can't wait for you to go and count down, G. You're on that numbers round.
There's a wooden spoon at stake here, Elliott. So yeah,
that's mine. That's on the wall, waiting it.
So there we go. 1-1 from me and Al, and 0-2 from Mikey and Paul. So brings us to the trivia, which I know Paul's very excited about.
Can I just say,
as always?
Sorry, I checked my notes and I forgot there is someone from the Magic I'd take.
Oh, go on then.
Go.
And Puff. Is it Puff the Magic Dragon?
Stuff. Come on.
Because I don't even know who the next mascot is. I don't even think we've got one. So
it's the Brooklyn Knight, isn't it?
I just forgot about it.
Is it the Brooklyn Knight?
Stuff is a good call. We like Stuff.
Brooklyn Knight. Is that something? I'm not sure.
I've never seen the Knight. I've got no idea why there's a Brooklyn Knight and what a Knight has got to do with Brooklyn. I have absolutely no idea. So we'll take a dragon. No. Why not? There's also a dragon called Elliott in Pete's Dragon.
Absolutely.
There is. And then Stuff was, of course, mascot of the year, 2 consecutive years, I think 19 and 20. So, no, that'd be a solid acquisition now. Yeah, good call. Right, so quiz time. So we're doing this around Elliott because obviously he deals with a lot of jerseys. So the quiz tonight is, what jersey number does this player wear? Okay, so I got 5 each for you. Who would like to go first?
Let's get it over and done with.
Go on then, Paul. Let's go with Paul first then. Right. What number does Kevin Durant wear, Paul?
I should know that.
Elliott's trying to give clues.
Not on the t-shirt.
Something like 34.
No, he did used to wear 35.
Oh, there you go.
But he wears a different number now at Brooklyn.
No, 7, is it?
Elliott's
I was going to go 12. I was going to go 12. Number 7.
Right, I'll go through all of Paul's and then we'll jump to you guys. So James Harden at Philadelphia.
No idea because I've not watched anything. So we will go 12. Number 1. Oh, there you go.
I got one number.
I got half of it right then.
Yeah, half a point. Okay, Joel Embiid. That should be a bit easier.
Oh, gold. I'm doing badly here.
Oh, 6. Sorry, Paul. I think.
Look behind you.
Oh.
What? He wears an Iron Maiden shirt. Is he number 20 then? Does he wear 20 or 21?
Well, you're still.
Yeah, a bit
21, Paul. 21. Right. Let's stick with the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie Irving.
0. 11.
Elliott's got it. Elliott's pointing at it for you. 11.
11. I'm just.
And the
You can tell
last
I'm really
one,
not watching a lot of other teams at the minute, can't you?
right? The last one, we played these on Friday, and he scored quite a lot.
Oh,
Pascal
God.
Siakam,
5.
43.
Oh,
So,
really good.
Sorry,
Thank you.
sorry, Paul. Give you half a mark for half of James Harden's number. So, Mikey or Elliott, who'd like to go next?
Let's let the
Go on,
guests
Mike.
go next.
Go on, Mikey. I'll finish it off.
I've gone then.
Go on, Em.
Go on,
Right, Mike,
Mate, you've got nothing to follow, have you? Let's be fair.
right.
I mean,
Mikey,
that was like our 3-point shooting against the other night. It was that bad.
right. Russell Westbrook,
0.
0. Yeah. Right. Zion Williamson. You've probably
1.
not seen for the last 2 years.
1.
It is number 1. Yeah. I hate this name. DeJounte Murray.
5.
Right, I thought that was the trickiest one of the lot, to be honest with you. Right. Carmelo Anthony.
7.
Yeah.
What did he
7.
wear? What did he wear
He-
at the Blazers?
00 on it.
Incredibly
What did he
annoying
wear?
in the spreadsheet.
What did he wear at the Nuggets?
He wore. What was it? 6.
Don't tell him.
7.
15.
Oh, 15. That's what I said.
Right. I'm glad I tripped him up at some point.
You did.
Right. Anyway, last one. Rudy Gobert.
Oh, man. This is one that's tripped me up.
Loving this. This is right up Elliott Street.
I'm not looking at the screen. I'm not looking for clues.
No, there are no clues.
There are
I just
no
thought I'd
clues.
chuck him in because it was 2 years ago, probably a day last week, that he started touching up all the microphones and stuff.
It was yesterday, G. 2 years ago yesterday.
It was today. Was it? There we go.
Who'd have thought?
I want to say 11, but I don't think it's 11.
27.
Not 11.
27. There you go.
27. Well done, Al. Well done, Al. Right, Elliott, you ready?
Pressure's on now. I'd be
No
10%.
It is.
But get them wrong. Go on.
Okay, right. Markel Fultz. He's stumped.
Who's 50? Is it Fultz 50?
I don't know. You tell me.
Suggs is 4. 20.
20. He's got it. Right. Patrick Ewing. Nice, easy one.
33.
33 on the Knicks. Can you tell me what he wore at the Magic? You sold the jersey with this.
I sold it, yeah.
You did. This time last year. Done my deep dive, mate. Just for a bonus point, so don't worry if you don't get it.
30?
No.
I
Want to say, guys?
Go on.
6.
6.
Yeah, I can see it now. Mind.
Can see it. Right. Your favourite player in the whole wide world, Nikola Vucevic.
Nikola Vucevic. I don't know what he wears since he's gone to Bulls.
Wear the same number. You
Is he
never
still
know.
9? Is he still 9? I don't know.
He is 9. He is 9. If I tilt my camera up, you see my side Vucevic jersey in the corner.
That's Gareth Bale.
Yeah, sorry, Vucevic is in the corner already.
That's how I confirm. That's how I confirm faults too. Thanks for that.
All right, Brandon Ingram,
14.
14. Right, and Cole Anthony,
50. I didn't. That's where I was going with Fultz and Anthony. I couldn't work out which one was 50.
Awesome. All right, and I'll chuck in one for between the three of you. Quite a very difficult one for a player on the Magic who hasn't played yet. Ball. Wouldn't know his number.
Oh God, I wrote this in the article when he came.
I
I
genuinely
You
haven't
haven't got
seen
it in
it.
front of you. Have you not?
I haven't seen it.
So I am going to go 18.
I'm going to go
Correct.
0.
Incorrect. Between the two of you, you both got the same number. If you take one number from one of yours and one of you from the others. No.
Hey,
Paul, do you want to have a go?
I've got a feeling he was going with something like 10.
Got it. 10.
Because it was Evan's number. It's funny, his number, wasn't it?
It was. So, so well done, boys. Well done. Bit of fun and games there. So thank you ever so much, Elliott, for joining us this week. Do you want to, you've got your big drop coming up for your 2-year anniversary. Do you want to plug away? Yeah,
the date hasn't been revealed to the world yet, but the second anniversary drop is a 200 jersey drop. So 200 new items will be going on the site. And it's by far the greatest drop I've ever got. I mean, it's exciting, but when I do a drop, there's incredible nervousness because obviously this is my business. I've got to rely on it to go well. So there's a lot of anxiety, but just going through these jerseys and being able to photograph them, there's an incredible amount coming. There's good Magic stuff in there. We've got Magic mixtapes, Magic City editions, classic Magic jerseys. But yeah, 200 jerseys. It's this month, but watch the socials if you want to know the exact date. That's part of the fun to reveal the hype on it. One of the things about being a one-man business is I don't obviously have massive marketing budgets. So it's a reliance upon myself to come up with ideas, name for drops, creative ideas, which I love. Fortunately, I've got quite a creative mind. It's quite funny when I try and explain what goes on my mind to people which do graphics and stuff, because it usually ends up with me getting a bit of paper and drawing stick people. Yeah, that's part of the fun. So if you want to follow the socials on Twitter and Instagram, it's quite a light-hearted, fun place to be. There's not much, there's serious sides of the business that I do in the charity work, but in general, it's quite a good, fun place to be. So if you don't want to miss out on anything, do that. And go and download the app, because I've got my own app, Hoopin N Lootin. Yeah. And obviously, it's at N Lootin. Yeah. So Twitter is at N Lootin. Twitter decided after a week that they wanted to cut my name in half. And I can't work out how to change it back. But on Instagram, it's Hoopin N Lootin. Twitter, N Lootin. I don't really use Facebook, so sorry to anyone that messaged me on Facebook and it takes me 4 weeks to get back to you. It just posts everything I do on Instagram. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. No, like I said, thank you ever so much for joining us and sharing your experiences. It's been really good. Thank you for having me on here. It's nice to talk a bit of sense about basketball. It's not just bad takes all the time. Absolutely. No, thank you, mate. So thank you everyone for listening and watching. Please subscribe to the podcast and hit the notification button as to not miss any further episodes. Please make sure to visit the website orlandomagicuk.com for the latest news. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and Twitter. All can be found at Orlando Magic UK to make it easy to find all the links. They're all featured in the podcast description. So from Mikey, Paul, Elliott and myself, until next time, go Magic.